So I wanted to tell you briefly about graphics in R. For most of you, there are two important graphical systems in R. The base R, which is always available, the base R graphic system, and ggplot. You will probably have seen both of them in action. There are important differences between them, but you should be aware of both of them, and probably you will be using both of them for different purposes. The base R graphic system is relatively straightforward. It's like micromanaging the graphical output, whereas ggplot is more logically built and allows you to a more general control approach. This has advantages and disadvantages. In base R, you have to really manually add every little thing to your plot, whereas in ggplot, you cannot easily create things which are not already coded by someone in a package. So let us have a brief demonstration of both. I will share my screen. And first, we need to define some example data. We'll define three variables. X, which is just a normally distributed random variable, then Y, which is correlated to X, and zeta, which is basically X plus Y. And now with base R, we can very easily plot them. You just simply type plot X and Y, and you get a nice plot. However, in order to change this plot and add elements to that, you have to add additional comments. So, for example, we can make an ab line at the height of 0, like that. We can also, and now if we want to recreate the plot with different symbols, for example, we have to go back to line number 5 and add the parameter PCH for point character and then a numerical value. So you see it's a bit annoying to look up these particular values, but now we have nicer points. However, our line disappeared, so we have again to run the line number 6. If we wanted to color it, likewise, there is a parameter called col. And we can put, for example, red here, and we have red points. However, if we wanted to color, for example, by the variable zeta, that would be much harder to do, because what we can do in base R, we can assign a color to every individual point. But first, we have to calculate which color to assign based on a color palette, and also calculate the color gradient. It's doable, but a lot of manual work. So let us take a look at ggplot, library ggplot2, and then ggplot is the command for plotting. But watch out, we cannot directly plot X and Y. We need to create a data frame that contains those variables first. So let us call it df data frame with X, Y, and zeta. And now we can use this data frame to plot with ggplot. The second parameter to ggplot is the so-called aesthetics. Aesthetic means we have different types of information channels in our plot. We have the vertical position, the y-axis, we have the horizontal position, the x-axis, but we have also the color, the shape, maybe grouping, and a couple of others. So, and with that, we can put into the aesthetics to tell ggplot which properties or which columns from the data frame should determine which channels of information. So we can say, for example, that the x-axis position should be taken from the x column, and the y-axis position should be taken from the y column. And then we can say, okay, let's start with that. But this, it's in itself, doesn't plot anything. We have to also specify what type or how we want to represent the information on the plot. And this is done with a little trick, because we are actually using the addition operator to add elements to the plot. So it's one command line not like the lines 5 and 6 in the base R, where we actually build up the plot in subsequent commands. We put it all in one go. However, we join these things with the plus operator, and then we add the so-called geom point in that case. There are many geoms. And this is just basically tells R, okay, use this predefined aesthetics to draw points on the plot. And here we have our basic R plot. We can also specify another aesthetics called color and assign it to the column zeta. And this will give us automatically a nice color scale. However, in order to, for example, define a different color scale, you have to add other elements to the ggplot. This is beyond my current video, but this should give you already a glimpse into how base R and ggplot work.